Well, Clayton, I always appreciate the time. First and foremost, what was it like being there for Albert Pujols' 700th home run?
Well, it was really special, obviously. I mean, I think we all would have not wanted it to be against us, but the fact that it was at Dodger Stadium, I think, was pretty cool. And, having to have played with Albert, having to know him before, just the respect he has in our clubhouse with me personally, I was so happy for him that he got it, and I was happy that I'm not going to be on the highlight reels for the rest of my life, so it's good.
Did you ever think it was going to come off you as the series was lining up?
Yeah, I mean, as they were here in San Diego the series before, and we were really rooting for him to get it here, to hit his 700th, and then I threw the second game, and so he had 2 to go. So I was like, surely I'm going to be in the middle of this, and pretty amazingly he hit 2 on the first day. So I got out of the fire on that one, but still really cool to see, and obviously really happy for him.
You missed out on saying goodbye to Albert Pujols when he was here in San Diego. So when the Dodgers come in town, I'm like, wait, Clayton, am I saying goodbye here? What's happening?
I don't think so. I mean, I said the other day, I feel like I'm going to play next year. I've told everybody I hold the right to change my mind this offseason, but I think if the season were to end today, I think I'd play next year. Obviously, this next month is really important to our team, myself personally, all the things. So, I don't know how that could change my mind, but we'll see.
What would you have done? What have you thought about? Are you going to start a podcast with AJ Ellis? What are you going to do when that happens?
No, AJ would talk too much. He wouldn't even need me on that podcast.
It's a catcher's thing.
Yeah, he's just got the gift of gab. He's so good. But no, I mean, I got 4 kids, 7 and under, so I think I would just be a full-time dad.
Okay, there's actually a few MVP candidates on this field at Petco Park with Mookie, with Betts and Freeman and Machado. If I'm putting you in the spot and you need to pick an MVP that's not on the Dodgers, who do you go with?
Probably Paul, probably Goldie. He's just had such an unbelievable season. You can't go wrong. I mean, I think, obviously Freddie and Mookie, like you said. Manny's had a great year here. Goldie, and then Nolan, too. I think those are kind of the guys. But to me, I think Goldie's kind of a little bit set above those guys.
It's been like a pretty lopsided rivalry with the Padres and the Dodgers over the past couple of years. But what has changed about the dynamics of the two teams since you were a rookie?
Well, I mean, I think a lot. I feel like the Padres have gone over like multiple regime changes, multiple player changes. They've had a lot of different opportunities and different ways to try and be good. And I think this model of what the Padres are, I think signing Manny started it. I've always had a big respect for Manny when he played with us, and now coming over here, playing against him all the time. He's just a great player, and you can kind of build around him, because he's going to post every day. He's a lot like Freddie for us. He's just going to post every day, go out there, play great defense, get big hits. And so when you have that kind of cornerstone piece, you can kind of build around them. And this Padres team is good. They got a lot of good players, a lot of good pitching, and definitely the most formidable opponent that I've faced as far as my time here at the Dodgers.
How much has Manny evolved? I know it's a short time he was with the Dodgers, but since he's come to San Diego, how much has he evolved?
Manny, I mean, he's obviously one of the best players in the game with Baltimore. He got traded to us for that half a season and, helped us get to the World Series. And so I don't know if his game's evolved. I just think this is who he is. I think he's just a great player. And I think he can roll out of bed and hit 300 and play Gold Glove defense. And so that's just who he is. I do feel like I don't know much about their clubhouse, but it does feel like he kind of maybe has a little bit more of like a leadership role over there, maybe, and kind of runs through him a little bit. I feel like it just seems that way from the other side, at least.
You and Yu Darvish, you guys used to train together in the off season. Now, what is that relationship like? Because he mentioned a while ago when he came to San Diego when he was traded, he said you weren't talking to him anymore. You weren't taking his phone calls.
I love you. He is a great teammate. I enjoyed my time with him, and we got to throw some in the off seasons. I think he's going to come back to Dallas. He said a little bit this off season, so maybe we get to do that again. And I wasn't screening his calls. Obviously, we play him a lot, and we have to face him a lot. We want to beat him, but from afar, I really respect the way he pitches. This year, I feel like he's kind of all put it together, and this is the guy he can be. He's got the ability to do everything. When he's on, it's really tough to hit, and he's competing well this year with the Padres, and we'll see what happens. But I'll consider you a good friend always.
Something that's a little bit different about this year's playoffs with the rest that you guys get in the first round. Do you like that, or is there something to momentum as a playoffs approach?
I think both. I mean, I think obviously, if you're in the wild card series, you'd rather have a bye, right? You wouldn't have to put that up to a 3-game series. But at the end of the day, like, that's the card we were dealt, and we're gonna make the most of our rest. We do have a few guys banged up, which will help us get them the time they need, and we'll do as much as we can with those 4 or 5 days to make sure the guys are ready to face velocity, to the guys that pitch, that need to pitch, all that stuff. But I mean, at the end of the day, this is the new format. We're going to have to be okay with it. Baseball's a game where you play every day. It's a rhythm game, so it's not going to be an excuse, but that's definitely a long time off for sure.
Do you have a favorite Vin Scully story that you can share? I know there's too many, but is there one that kind of pops to mind that's the go-to?
Yeah, I think Vin, man, I have so many great things to say about Vin and just how he treated us as players and how he treated me personally. He's just a great man, and thankful I got to know him as well as I did, and thankful I got to have him be the voice of the Dodgers of my career for as long as I did. It's pretty special. And I remember him meeting Callie, my oldest. That was pretty cool. We got to go up to the booth, and there's a picture of it, and Suhu got it, and it's just awesome. I'll have that forever. And I think then having, I got to throw a no-hitter at Dodger Stadium, which was pretty special, and to have him as the soundtrack for that is there's not too many people that can say that, so that's pretty cool.
Last thing, and I always appreciate your time. So this time I want to, maybe search for a fun fact that you didn't realize. Did you know that you and Matthew Stafford went to the same high school?
That's the first time somebody's mentioned that to me. That's wow, that's a shocker.
How much fun is it being in the same city with him?
No, I'm happy for him. I was happy for him last year. He's been in Detroit for a long time, and he's put up great year after year. And the Lions, for whatever reason, just didn't do it. And so I think it was great. I think he handled it really well, getting traded out of there, and I think the Lions fans appreciated the way he handled it. And I think the Rams fans obviously appreciate winning a Super Bowl. So I'm happy for him that he got to do it, and they look pretty good this year. So we'll see what happens.
Would he be a better baseball player than you would be a football player?
Yeah, no doubt.
Really?
No doubt. We played obviously all the sports growing up together, but he played varsity baseball his first 2 years of high school and was our shortstop. Came in and closed like an inning or two at a time, and he really was a great player. I think he definitely could have played in college, but potentially got drafted. But obviously football was his calling.